Chapter 5.
James bounded over the purple couch, taking each step 3 at a time as he dashed past Moody, who remained on guard, only managing a quick, "I'm coming right back." An overwhelming urge to be with Lily overtook him. The night's events were like a tidal wave, threatening to engulf him, and he was desperate for her comforting presence. As soon as he stepped outside the protective spell, he vanished, reappearing at the entrance of their flat. Unsealing the door with an urgent flick, he entered to find Lily calmly reading, a glass of wine in hand, as if the lively pub night they'd shared was merely a distant memory. Despite the warped perception of time unresolved in his mind, James chose to shove it aside and focus on her instead. A distracted, "Hey, Jam," was his greeting. "Lils," he responded, the single word laden with emotions teetering between joy and fear that captured her immediate attention. "Jamie?" He wrapped her in a fierce embrace, pressing his face into her soft hair, and snared by the right words, simply holding on more tightly. "James," she persisted, "is your off-the-cuff mission all right?" "Well, no one's injured. Still, we do need your help at the safe house for a potion." "Simple enough," she replied easily. He nodded against her neck, evading the complexities of the situation for now. She gave his back a reassuring pat. "I'll need to be sober first, so you're going to have to release me." The mere idea of letting go was bitter. Cradling the future mother of his child, feeling the urgency to never lose her, overtook his thoughts. Realizing how critical their relationship was to their future, like the threads of what they might become glimmered in his heart. Though it would disrupt Sirius and Remus' meticulous planning, James was familiar with deviating from the course. He let her rise, as she rummaged for a hangover cure while he hurriedly sought out his wardrobe, ready to leave once she was. When Lily was set, with boots and cloak secured, they both apparat to a point just beyond the boundaries, leaving only a short walk across dewy grass, a mere 50 meters, to broach what awaited her. "Okay, so just so you're in the loop," he started, clearing his throat. "The potion is to determine parentage between one of 2 guys found at a remarkable magical incident. Dumbledore brought me in because one of them's undeniably a Potter. You do realize parentage potions only confirm if 2 individuals are parent and child, right?" Lily pointed out, a hint of perplexity. "Yeah, I'm aware." Nearing the safe house's entrance, James gently halted her with an arm, running his other hand through his hair nervously. "The thing is, we suspect he's my son." Lily's shock morphed rapidly into righteous indignation. "What? A child? Who's? How?" "He's not a boy per se," James blurted. "We think he's from another time." Her expression shifted again, settling on a more relaxed state, a positive signal. "Perhaps we should just meet him then." James simply nodded, trailing her inside, past the vigilant Moody, and into a modest potion room. Dumbledore stood along one wall, Harry and Malfoy restrained to their chairs across from him, while Sirius leaned forcefully over Harry with determination. "Trust Potter," Malfoy was saying. "When he says it's horrific, you shouldn't inquire further." Their entrance quelled the debate, as Sirius sheepishly relaxed against the wall near Dumbledore. Lily halted, eyes fixed on Harry. James couldn't see her face, but from over her shoulder, Harry seemed struck by the sight, as though she embodied the essence of his last moment. His sealed lips attempted to hold it together, yet his tearing eyes betrayed him, overwhelmed beyond measure. "Oh," Lily spoke softly, awe filtering through her words. "He resembles you quite a bit." "Except he's got your eyes," James added gently, the air filled with reverence. "Indeed," Lily acknowledged, moving to kneel before Harry. "I'm Lily, but you've probably heard that." With a hint of his old self, Malfoy interjected, "Draco Malfoy, pleased to meet you, should these ties permit." "Nice try," Sirius retorted. Lily's brow arched, offering a polite, "Pleasure." "This is Harry," James prompted, sparing the boy from the ordeal of self-introduction. "Hi, Harry," Lily gently greeted, placing a soothing hand on his shoulder. His eyes fluttered closed to suppress trailing tears. Witnessing them, James felt utterly complete, sensing this was life as it ought to be, Lily and their child, entwined in mutual affection. The ropes no longer mattered. Having surpassed initial mistrust, he was grateful for granting these two the opportunity they deserved. Harry reopened his eyes. "Hi, Mum," he whispered, the words weighed down by hidden heartache. "I take it you haven't seen your mother for some time," Lily deduced kindly. Harry averted with a downcast nod, concealing tears yet unable to hide his quivering stance. Lily instinctively drew him in, touching his head to her shoulder, fingers dancing gently through his tousled hair. "I'm truly sorry," she murmured. In awe of her boundless empathy, James admired how she could extend warmth and solace to this unfamiliar boy, illustrating her remarkable nurturing spirit yet to realize. Fortifying himself against the wall, he took his place by Sirius, just to steady his nerves as he watched. "Do we really need him bound like this?" Lily questioned crouched James. James rubbed a hand across his neck. "Actually, we haven't validated anyone's claims or identities yet." A shaky inhale from Harry. "Should this reveal a Death Eater plot, I will annihilate every single one," he boldly declared. Serious laughter broke through, lightening the atmosphere. With composure, Lily stood upright. "Shall we proceed with the potion?" "Yes, that's right," James confirmed. She methodically selected her materials, organized them on the table. She lit the fire and primed the cauldron while gripping a small blade. Malfoy cleared his throat with deliberate significance. "The table is partly obscured from my vantage." Ironically amused, James crafted the chair legs beneath Malfoy's seat longer, until he had full view. With assertive assurance, Malfoy offered thanks, then side-eyed Harry, his chair now lower in comparison, with smug satisfaction. James rolled his eyes, lengthening Harry's chair legs to match. "Oh, we're putting on a show now," Lily wryly observed. "I remain the neutral observer against false positive outcomes," Malfoy declared. "Indeed." James listened intently as tension filled the room. "In case this is all part of some Death Eater scheme," he thought, voicing his concern. "Precisely," Malfoy affirmed. "Well then, isn't it troubling that even our children's generation keeps worrying about Death Eaters? What year is it for you, anyway?" Lily questioned, her tone inquisitive yet amused. Malfoy arched an eyebrow, staring down Harry. Unflinching, Harry returned the gaze. James pondered if this was the right moment to ask Lily about the term random video. 1998, Malfoy replied. Lily let out a low whistle. For such a small community, that's quite a prolonged conflict. There was some peace for a while. Malfoy shifted uncomfortably. Lily nodded, her grip on the knife tight with tension. But ultimately, it didn't last. When silence fell and no explanation came, James cleared his throat. There were rumors of a return. Lily grimaced and moved the topic aside, focusing on squashing puffapod beans under the broad blade of her knife. "You're meant to slice those," Malfoy corrected, his tone sharp. "Yes, traditionally, but the juice extracts better by pressing with the flat of a silver blade," Lily countered. Harry, who had remained disengaged so far, suddenly gasped, the sound magnified in the quiet atmosphere. Everyone turned to him. "Where did you pick that up?" he asked. "A friend from long ago figured it out. We used to dabble in potions a lot back before." She trailed off awkwardly. James' mind went straight to Snavellis. Surprisingly, Harry echoed his thoughts. "Don't tell me it was Snape?" Harry sounded utterly shocked. Lily glanced at him, a bit cautious. It was indeed. Harry looked as if the ground beneath him had shifted, It was amusingly surreal to James. Sirius' silent laughter seemed to wash over him. You and Snape are friends? Why on earth? Sirius exploded with laughter. No need for any paternal doubts. That's definitely your boy, Prongs. We were neighbors, Lily explained, sounding weary, eyes more on her chopping than on Harry. He introduced me to the world of magic. We were inseparable. No, Harry repeated, his voice strained. No. He's an obnoxious, treacherous old bully who called you something foul and killed Dumbledore. His voice rose to a roar. Lily inhaled sharply, eyes pleading at Malfoy for contradiction, but his body flinched heavily. Shocked silence and a helpless shrug were all he offered. Oh, Sev, she mourned quietly. Sev, mouthed Harry, as if the words tasted unfamiliar. He seemed to be on the brink of nausea. James couldn't shake the thought. Definitely his son. We drifted apart, Lily confessed, regret lacing her words. He was drawn into dark arts, the Death Eaters. It was predictable, yet heartbreaking. James watched Harry grapple with the notion his mum was once close to Snape, swallowing new realizations about Lily's past, knowledge he hadn't grasped at 16. Harry had never explained Peter's betrayal in full. Hadn't James also danced with uncertainty? So, Lily broke in later, seeking to disperse the heavy atmosphere. How did you two find your way here? Harry and Malfoy exchanged looks. Finally, Malfoy spoke. There's peculiar artifacts in the Room of Requirement. We likely triggered one in the chaos. Truthfully, my memory is hazy, Harry admitted, still grumping over the Snape revelation. Lily added the last handful of dandelion roots, mixed carefully, and announced, 9 minutes on a low simmer. She settled back. Mind telling me a bit about yourself while we wait? Harry hesitated, eyeing her cautiously, but relented and began speaking, haltingly, navigating topics gingerly. James was eager to learn about his son. The Gryffindor, affirmation no doubt, the fondness for treacle tart, Evan's legacy, his two best mates, certainly not Malfoy, who appeared comically offended by mistaken assumptions, his Quidditch skills, Malfoy offensively agrees to that too, to James' delight, and his prowess in defense, practical skill. James approved as a father. Harry talked sorrowfully about a snowy owl, Hedwig, who passed months prior, a revelation which thankfully concluded with the timer beeping. As the potion finished, James slid his finger over the blade, the droplets mingling with the cauldron's contents. Handing the knife to Harry, he subtly blocked his wife from any potential threat, undoing Harry's ties. With freedom, Harry stood, somewhat tense. He eyed the knife with trepidation, his hand poised, before glancing at Malfoy for support. Only 3 drops, Malfoy assured. Harry took a breath, positioned his hand, and sliced. His blood glowed, white upon contact with the potion. He stepped back, the light bright. Congratulations, it's a positive, Lily murmured. Harry gave Malfoy a questioning look, who nodded affirmatively. Relief uncoiled in James. A warmth settled at the absolute certainty. Yes, his son. It had felt real before, but now, unmistakably validated, it seemed more dreamlike. Lily cleverly retrieved the blade from Harry, placing it out of reach. Then, without hesitating, she enveloped Harry in an embrace. He held her tight, as if drifting to safety. Sirius nudged James forward, who joined the embrace, cocooning Harry with Lily. They stayed locked in that shared warmth longer than it seemed possible, until Malfoy's sharp voice interrupted. Am I expected to remain bound forever? Harry, Dumbledore's voice cut through. Will you vouch for Mr. Malfoy's loyalties? Harry detached himself, looking between Malfoy and Dumbledore, nodding eventually. Indeed. He's a dreadful Death Eater. I suspect he's been planning to leave them for some time. Malfoy fumed, but safely contained his irritation. Forced circumstances, he muttered, due to you getting my father locked up. Harry's eyes narrowed. After he provided the snare that killed Sirius? Regrets are not forthcoming. A heavy groan from Sirius acknowledged the tragic recollection. Fell to Lucy's machination, did he? He lamented. Bloody rough. Technically, Harry admitted, scratching awkwardly. Only led us there. Bellatrix struck the fatal hit. And the death veil? In the mysteries department? Dumbledore questioned intensely. Now that's a plot twist for the ages, Lily quipped. Sirius emits a low groan yet again. Harry stiffens. Yeah. There was some fighting there. Ahem, Malfoy repeats. The ropes? Got it, cousin, Sirius nods, flicking his wand to free Malfoy from his bindings. Malfoy immediately jumps up, rubbing his chafed wrists and ankles while pressing down the creases in his robes. You didn't find any wands lying around, did you? He inquires. Sorry, lad, Dumbledore replies with a shake of his head. Malfoy lets out a frustrated sigh. Typical, he mutters, grumbling under his breath words suspiciously akin to Scarhead and Potter. Harry, comes Dumbledore's calm voice, could you tell us why there was the fight at the Department of Mysteries? Well, it's a bit of a tale. We'd like to hear it, Lily says encouragingly. I'll tidy up here first, then we can sit and discuss everything. She clears the clutter from the laboratory, scrubs the cutting board, and washes the knives and cauldron at the sink. As she busily cleans, James approaches from behind and kneels. No way, Malfoy gasps. This is definitely off script, Harry whispers nervously. Oh, come on, Sirius groans. We had it all planned, prongs. And it was a fine plan. James glances back with an apologetic but sly grin. What's that? Lily says, rinsing the cauldron. Hearing no reply, she turns and spins completely to find James, on one knee, holding a ring. Oh. Her breath catches, nearly drowned out by the crash of the cauldron hitting the sink. Lily Marie Evans, James begins, attempting to steady his voice. Tonight I glimpsed our future, and he is mighty, wise, and incredible, just like you. With effort, he shifts his gaze to Harry, smiling through tears. James turns back to a teary-eyed Lily. This mirror-like beauty nearly overwhelms him. Harry's tale was darker than I could have fathomed, yet no shade this war casts will dim your light, Lily. Whatever fate awaits, long life or early end, I want to fight and, if need be, die at your side. Knowing you'd be worth every risk, I found tonight I'd die for you, which made me even more resolved to live for you, to remind you each day how deeply I love you. I've wanted this for years, Evans, and I'm through waiting. He pauses, steeling himself, before asking the question. But Lily skips ahead. Of course I will. You daft bloke, she replies. His broad smile unfazed by her bluntness. Call him an arrogant torag. Why don't you? Jibes Sirius. That's enough from the hecklers, Lily fires back, cupping James' face. James Fleamont Potter, the wisdom you've shown tonight belies the rascal you were at 15. She arches a grin at Sirius howling, but largely ignores it. I'm fortunate to know the courageous, loyal man you've become. And luckier still to be your wife. She kisses him, and James lifts her, spinning warmly in a victory embrace. Oh man, Harry grumbles, time travel shenanigans again. Hermione's going to be livid. We all know you botch everything, Potter, Malfoy retorts, though his voice quivers with sentiment. Witnessing my parents' engagement live, yet stranded with Malfoy. This takes the cake, Harry mutters. James eventually relaxes, laughing at his son for undercutting the occasion. Selecting Lily's hand, he gingerly slides on the heirloom ring, a graceful mix of topaz and rubies. Just right, he thinks. They turn to face their eclectic audience, a teenage son, strange, yet fine, his best mate, irritating, yet beloved, his headmaster, odd, yet trustworthy, and a Malfoy, irksome, yet acceptable. This, James muses, is the outcome of sidelining Remus and Sirius' elaborate schemes. Moony will be incensed to have missed this, Sirius notes, seemingly reading James' mind. All gathered for pub night just hours ago, and you chose now, where he's absent. James sighs. I'll propose in proper fashion then, with the original setup. Frankly, knowing you all, this was likely the saner proposal, Lily muses wryly. Perhaps I should be grateful this happened first. You wound me. Sirius protests theatrically. Oi, Harry, help us with the redo, will you? We'll need a stand-in for Wormtail, anyhow. Harry beams, a smile so light-hearted it aches in James' chest. Yeah, sure. Excellent, Sirius says. We must celebrate. James instantly concurs. Lily wisely looks to Dumbledore for permission. Congratulations to you both on your engagement, Dumbledore rumbles. A celebration is well-deserved. We can resume any additional inquiry later in the week. However, he adds to Harry and Malfoy, let's sort out a temporary place for you two first. Harry will join us, James insists. He's our son, and we'll make space. Problem solved. Harry seems overjoyed, his face aglow, until Padfoot spoils it. Not tonight. Sirius cuts in with a wicked chuckle. Not with you like to be preoccupied. Harry's face pales. Malfoy chuckles. You'll both stay with me, Sirius commands. He embraces the teens, one on each side. Harry appears more at ease than Malfoy. Moony and I've got plenty of room, and there's a guest bed I can duplicate. Once the engagement storm dies down, you can settle in with your folks, and you, cousin, will remain with us to drink, bond over Black family traumas, and strategize on reclaiming Reg. Sound good? Malfoy begins. Perfect. Harry beams, directing a mocking grin at Malfoy. Who's Moony? Malfoy whispers to Harry. Professor Lupin, Harry murmurs back. Professor Lupin, Sirius exclaims. Oh, he'll treasure that. Might even compensate for missing the pronsposal.
A professor.
He ushers them out, repeating Professor Lupin with amusement. James wishes for a moment of solitude with Lily, but she entwines her fingers with his, gently tugging him toward the exit. Come on, we better go check that Sirius isn't leading our son astray, she comments. In a heartbeat, they embrace their new life as a trio.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more audiobooks. Happy listening!